Hey everyone, this is Ellie Mae with Silhouette Secrets Plus, and I have some tips today on working with the Silhouette Electrostatic bed. I have to say, I love this. Now, all of this I cut this morning with the Silhouette Electrostatic bed. Every single one of these pieces. This is a couple scrapbook layouts that I'm working on. I will have photos of that for an upcoming event. So all of these pieces, including all of those flowers, the leaves, everything was cut. I had a couple of bumps in the road. I had this design too close to the edge of the page, and it ate a piece of cardstock, but you can see it still cut successfully. So then I also have a couple sets of cards here. All of these pieces, everything was cut using the Silhouette Electrostatic bed. So here's a look at the bed in action, and I will share some tips as we watch this, cutting all of these or some of these pieces. This took me several hours to cut out everything, but that is completely normal. However, it took me less time because I did not have to remove it from a cutting mat. So a couple tips. The first one is you are going to want a secure connection between the Cameo 5 or Portrait 4 machine and the electrostatic bed. It also needs to be a flat surface. It is a machine and the bed takes up more real estate. So it does take a larger amount of space to function properly. If you have it on an uneven surface, such as two tables pushed together that do not connect and are completely flat, that can affect that connection. And over time, it's actually going to interfere with it being able to work properly at all because the connection is just breaking where it needs to meet at the machine and the ES bed. The next one is your materials need to be completely flat. If your materials are curled at all, you are not going to have a good cut result because the electrostatic bed cannot maintain that charge between the material and the ES bed in order to hold the material in place while it's being cut. Any lifting or catching with your materials is going to affect it. Your design placement, as I mentioned with the film strips, my design was too close to the very top of the material. It got caught and it really just ate my paper. I was simply able to remove all the bits and pieces from the machine, from the ES bed, and place another sheet of paper on there. I did a blade housing reset and it cut perfectly the second time that I did it after I had moved the design from the edge of the paper. So make sure that you are giving yourself enough allowance on the very edges of your paper and also at the top and the bottom. Test cut, test cut, test cut. If you are using settings that are too high for your material, that is going to cause pieces to shift and it's going to get caught in the machine. So test cutting your materials is going to be for your benefit. Cardstock can vary by brand, color, texture, and weight, humidity, all factors that can go into cutting cardstock cleanly. It is not always a machine fault, but every single type of cardstock, even within the cardstock that I cut, it's all the same brand. However, the white is a little bit heavier weight than the other colors of this cardstock, so I did have to change the settings. I used a setting for all of the pieces of cardstock from between a blade depth of 3, which was the default for cardstock textured. I did 2 passes and I had to go back and forth depending on the color I was cutting and the design between a force of 20 all the way up to the 30. The 30 I used for the white cardstock because it was a heavier cardstock. Testing is the only way you know what is going to work with your machine, your blade, and your design and the material. Make sure that the bed on the ES bed, that it is on and it needs to remain on the entire time it's being cut. If for some reason the ES bed turns off at any point during the cut, that charge is going to dissipate and your material is going to start to move. There can be multiple reasons for the ES bed to turn off. Generally, it's a connection issue. So start with troubleshooting the connection issues and then make sure to check your machine often just to verify. In this several hours of cutting, my ES bed turned off one time. I don't know why. I watched it the entire time, the rest of the cuts, and it did not turn off at all. So just make sure that you're watching it often. And usually when I would have a mistake or an error on the cutting part, it was when I walked away from the machine, which is typical. You will make mistakes. It is new technology. It is really, really cool. I love cutting with the ES bed. It does take up more room, so it is more difficult to record, as well as be on a surface that is completely flat, takes up more space. So now I will have to unhook the ES bed so I can assemble all of these projects that I have here, but I think it's really, really worth it. The only thing you have to replace on it is the consumable part here. I shouldn't say the only thing. With use, you may have other things that need replaced. So you have this protective sheet. I would highly recommend using the Silhouette protective sheets. And you have these two clear strips. They're like frosted where the rollers roll. There is a replacement also in the box. We have talked to Silhouette about having a replacement that you can purchase as well. So hopefully we will see that in the future. The biggest tip I can say for you, first, you are not going to be an expert right out of the box. It is very, very rare that you're going to have any user who does not have issues at all. You are going to need to practice the same as I have practiced and put in a lot of time into the ES bed, and your materials and your cut settings, everything is a factor into it. If something goes wrong, start back at the beginning with the troubleshooting. That is the best way that you can troubleshoot your issues when you run into them. And that is for anything, whether that's software, cutting with a cutting mat, or with the ES bed. Now, I really do love the electrostatic bed with the Cameo 5. It is also available for the Portrait 4 as well. It just made cutting this and removing it. I have no sticky residue. I had no pieces. I didn't have to remove all of these little tiny squares or these little tiny circles from the cutting mat. So it really made my projects cut a lot quicker, and I was able to just get this done in a couple hours. So this is 2 12x12 scrapbook page layouts and 4 5x7 card layouts. So follow me for additional information on the new machines with Silhouette, as well as stay tuned for photos of these finished projects. It is for a class that I am developing that will be coming in November. Now here's a look at the finished projects after everything was assembled, and all of these shapes, all of these designs, everything was created in the Silhouette Studio software, including the mock-ups before I created the actual projects. So everything is cut on the electrostatic bed, as you saw, a couple scrapbook layouts there, but it's not just limited to cardstock. So you can also cut any material that is flat and can maintain that charge with the electrostatic bed the entire time it's being cut. Here's a look at Oracal 651 adhesive vinyl being cut, and I'm going to share the process of weeding. This is a very intricate design that I cut, and I cut 2 sheets of this. My vinyl is very, very flat, and you can take a look at how intricate this is in this next photo. But as long as it can maintain that charge, hopefully the tips have helped in this video for successful cuts with your Silhouette electrostatic bed. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any additional questions. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell for notifications of future content. Thanks for joining me, and have a great day.